What glitch in the system are you exploiting? I've been getting free internet for the last 10 years because my ISP never cut me off after I stopped paying. I don't question it. There's a change dispenser near my house, and when you put in $1 bills it dispenses 5 quarters instead of 4. Woohoo, breaking economy. Getting a mortgage, and then getting a roomie to pay rent to me, which I use to pay the mortgage. Living for free, man. Parking on a street that requires a permit every 3 months or so I get a fine of $150. If I paid to park I would be paying $10 a day, so it works out way cheaper to just keep on getting fines. I get 15% discounts at a particular grocery store by virtue of being a student. However, the chain doesn't apply the discounts on returns. So, I can buy something at a 15% discount and return it for full price. I don't use it because I want the chain to stick around, but I know it exists. Getting the employee discount on my phone bill from an employer I left a year ago. Was told by gas company that my apartment doesn't exist according to their records and therefore couldn't set up an account. Despite this, we've had gas in the apartment for the past 3 years. My brother got discounts from other stores in the plaza of the grocery store he worked at because he worked at said grocery store. The pizza place got so used to seeing him, they gave him the grocery store discount every time he came in, even well after he quit that job. Live in a rural town. No degree, but I'm excellent at math. I got a job teaching GED math classes which requires a degree. It was supposed to be temporary, and I was supposed to give my boss a refresher on math, so they could eventually let me go. My boss knows I have a daughter to support by myself as a dad, and have really turned my life around, and my boss already knows how to do math. Boss still always tells her supervisor she just can't get the hang of algebra, so I can keep my job. My boss is cool. I use the Starbucks mobile ordering system to order a grand drink, but then select the option to have it put in a venti cup. 4/5 times I get a full venti drink. My local pizza place has pepperoni on the menu for £1 more than pepperoni plus pepperoni, mushrooms and onions. Just swap the mushrooms and onions for pepperoni and pepperoni. Every time I eat it, I'm wahahaha to myself. I never actually did this, and I'm told it doesn't work anymore, but I saw people do it. Years ago, at a certain major university, the administration decided to put all your services on one card. Everything from the library to photocopiers, to exams to food services. A fine idea. There was just one tiny problem. The code somehow presumed that everyone would, at some point, put a balance on the card. They did not account for the possibility of someone showing up in certain places with a zero balance. One set of such places involved anywhere that served university issue food. In short, as long as you kept a zero balance on your card, you ate for free. You get rung in at the cash and present your card. It would scan, but not show the cashier the balance. Because of privacy regulations, it would only say okay or not okay. If you had a balance that was not sufficient or negative, e.g. in the case of library fines, it would compare X to Y and it wouldn't go through. If your balance was 0, it went through every time. So somebody didn't set up that binary properly. This went on for years in certain faculties and departments, and it's easy to imagine which ones. It was legendary. It got to the point, I'm told, that they were actually holding meetings and disciplining people who abused it too much because they were so concerned about keeping it going. A fake. It only ended because the university tore out all of their old cafeterias and put new ones in, presumably because the old ones were losing staggering amounts of money, complete with a new payment system that did not apparently have this issue. I found out towards the end of my time there, but I didn't feel too upset because I lived off campus and only ate within the university inside my college, which was on a different system and had way better food. Someone literally said, "How would you like a free lunch?" Showed me his 0.00 balance on a nearby machine, and then bought me lunch. Now that I'm more involved in and aware of university operations, I'm actually kind of pissed about this. Like all free lunches, it wasn't, but it remains, undeniably, a first-class hack. Personally, my own view is that student nutrition is a huge problem, and we should be giving food away to students, but the legal problems surrounding that are truly prohibitive. My dad is a recycling man for my town. And man did he ever do this well. So with McDonald's, you know how you can get a stamp card and a sticker on every cup. When you fill out the stamp card you get a free drink. Well, whenever he goes to pick up someone's recycling, sometimes a person left their McDonald's drink cup in there. And the sticker is still on it. So he takes the sticker and puts it on his stamp card. Let's say he has over 50 plus stamp cards for a free drink. By doing this and counting, he is exploiting that one. That is for sure. Free coffee for life. I keep being offered sign up bonuses for starting new bank accounts. I've switched twice now in a year, moving my direct deposit each time, and have made $800 in incentives. Other than the hassle of switching my direct deposit, I can't find a reason not to. There are no penalties for closing a bank account, and to me the hassle is worth the money. I took a regular old stats class in high school. My college saw it on my transcript, thought it was apt, and checked it off of my degree requirements. My graduate school saw it on my undergrad transcript, and checked it off on my requirements. I haven't taken a math class since I was 17, and I'm not saying a word. Not current, but a good story. 3 years ago I worked at a grocery store as a cashier, and they had a system where every dollar spent was put towards a points system to give you discounts on their gas. You also got discounts on specific items with the card. They tracked our employee cards, so we couldn't cop some free fuel points. But my mom's old phone number was still linked to an account, so whenever a customer didn't have an account, which was free, I would just type in my mom's old hash and say it was the store code to give them discounts. I paid next to nothing for gas while I worked there and never got caught. I know how to read the screen at PC Richard & Son Appliances and Electronics. I can tell how low a price can go when haggling before it needs a manager's code and the commission the salesman will get. I tell the salesman I'll tip him the difference in commission they'd make had they sold it at retail if he gets a manager to drop the price. This is usually over $100 to $400 in savings on large appliances and $20 to $50 on smaller things. Their code is don't give up 1234 56 78 90. Usually just dropping knowledge of the code will get you a great deal. Not really a glitch, but I churn credit cards and bank accounts for their sign-up bonuses. In the past year, 2016, I have opened 23 new cards and made close to $10k profit, which is nothing compared to some others. I have enough airline and hotel points to last for a long time. I get into airport lounges for free, and I have elite status at many hotels. And no, I don't pay interest, and it's not bad for your credit. My current job is a fast food franchise with 5 other stores in the market. I started out at one store making $11.25/HR. After my first year I got a raise of $25, and within a month I was promoted to trainer with another 25-cent raise. After about 3 months of that I was late for work too many times, so they decided to demote me. I took a week off after that because I felt down. When I got back I noticed they hadn't docked my pay. I didn't tell anyone and wanted to avoid attention, so I started working the night shift to earn an extra $1 an hour, so I was making $12.75/hours. After 6 months I had made the overpasses one of the most productive shifts, so the boss wanted to promote me to manager. I agreed and they sent me off to another store for 2 months for training. When I got to that store the amount I was making on my pay stub was $12.75 instead of $11.75 plus 1, because the person in charge of payroll is lazy. So when the new store put me on night shifts they were paying me $12.75/HR plus $1/HR. When my 2 months were up I got the raise, bringing my total up to $13.75/HR on normal shifts. But when I got back to my original store, the lazy payroll guy just totaled my wage again on my pay stub, so that it was $14.75. After about 3 weeks of me being back, the other overpass manager started not liking me, so I demoted myself and asked to be moved stores for good. So they moved me to the slowest store in the market without fixing the pay again. So when I got to the store I'm currently at I was making $14.75. To finish off, I work overnights in my new store, so I get the $1 premium again on top of my $14.75 75. I get free food, and the store is so dead I get maybe 20 customers a night. During Christmas the power for just my apartment went out, but the Christmas lights on the balcony railing were still on. I hypothesized that wall outlet was probably wired to my neighbor's place by accident by the electrician, or on purpose for some reason. I tested this by plugging a power strip into it, running it inside, and plugging everything I could into it, and sure enough the electric bill was low as fuck. The neighbor drives a Mercedes, so I don't feel bad about it. This was like 7 or 8 years ago when a lot of towns in the UK didn't have Domino's Pizza, before Papa John's was a thing here, and you were lucky if there was a Pizza Hut delivery. Most people only had access to pizza from little dirty kebab shops, and like their kebabs, the pizzas were best eaten when drunk. Well, a Domino's opened up in my hometown not long after I finished university and moved back home. Because it was so expensive compared to the cheap, albeit shit, pizza you could already buy, they did loads of really good coupon and online deals. They had this one code, BIZ50, that was 50% of £50. A large pizza with 2 sides was about £25 anyway, so you could basically get twice the amount of food. It made it feel like you weren't getting totally ripped off. That code didn't stay on the menus for long though, and it was replaced with various other codes that would change every month. The thing is though, the BIZ50 code still worked online, and it stayed active until this year. I was a little heartbroken when I entered it and got an invalid code error. A while back they got new keypads at my job that wouldn't let you punch in if you showed up late for work. It would just say, "Too late, see a manager," and then you'd have to go through the awkward process of telling your manager, having them follow you up the stairs, and they had to sign a late slip for you. One day I figured out that if I put a 9 at the end of my 4-digit key, because it doesn't overwrite the last key, I could punch in late without being penalized. Naturally I abused this loophole whenever I was too late for work. Eventually they caught on to what I was doing and had a manager talk to me and tell me that if I showed up late 3 more times, 3 strikes, I'd be fired. I think the only reason they didn't fire me then and there was because they didn't want to admit there was a loophole in the system. In most states, children/teens have to take a series of specific standardized tests to determine the effectiveness of the school and progress of the student themselves. These aren't the apps, SAT, ACT, or TOEFLs. These are state administered, and in my state, when we had to take it, people found out a glitch so to speak. So the way the test works was that the questions got harder the more you got right. Also it was not timed, so you could pause the test. However, whenever you paused and then came back you got a different question. This question may have been easier for you to do if you were the student. So basically, a room of 30 or maybe more students would get a question they would get stumped on. Then pause the test and resume seconds after to receive another question that they knew how to do. Of course, you could do this as many times as you wanted to during the test. It was livid. I scored 99% better in the whole state because of this. Note the new question would be in the same difficulty set as the one you couldn't do. The new question you got just might have been faster to do, or easier to comprehend. So it was kind of a half glitch, and you still had to be a little smart.